In the glittering world of boxing, where fortune and fame dance on a knife's edge, few names ignite the arena like Gervonta "Tank" Davis. As of now, his estimated net worth hovers around $10 million, the spoils of a man who's turned pain into power, chaos into craft. Through blockbuster pay-per-views, knockout bonuses, endorsements, and real estate ventures, Tank's success tells a story that stretches far beyond the ring. But behind those millions lies something no balance sheet can measure. The raw story of a boy who came from nothing, carved through every obstacle, and stood tall in the center of the storm. To understand Tank Davis, you must look past the highlight reels and championship belts into the streets of Baltimore, where survival itself was the first fight he ever had to win. Early life. A childhood in the crossfire. Gervonta Bryant Davis was born on November 7, 1994, in the Sandtown-Winchester neighborhood of West Baltimore, a place where poverty and violence were constant companions. To most of America, Baltimore was a dot on a map. To Gervonta, it was a battlefield of broken homes, gunshots, and flashing police lights. The air was thick with struggle, but in the small boy's chest burned something that refused to die, the will to fight back. His parents battled their own demons, leaving young Gervonta and his siblings to navigate life's chaos mostly on their own. Little is publicly known about his family. What's certain is that stability was rare and danger was near. He's spoken in interviews of having to fight his way through childhood, not just with fists, but with faith that something better existed beyond the corner block. The gym that saved him. At just 7 years old, Gervonta walked into the Upton Boxing Center, and everything changed. There, under the watchful eye of Coach Calvin Ford, the boy from the streets became something else entirely. Ford, a former community mentor whose life inspired the character Cuddy on The Wire, became the father figure Davis never truly had. Boxing, Ford once said, gave Tank a reason to wake up every morning. And so, day after day, punch after punch, Gervonta built himself from the inside out. The ring became his classroom, discipline his textbook. By his teenage years, he was already a local legend, a prodigy known for explosive power, lightning reflexes, and a stare that could freeze opponents in place. Education and the road less taken. Davis attended Digital Harbor High School, a magnet school in Baltimore. But academics soon gave way to ambition. He dropped out before graduation to pursue boxing full-time, later earning his GED to fulfill his education. Where most kids were studying algebra, Gervonta was learning geometry of a different kind, footwork angles, head movement, and the mathematics of survival. He was sculpting destiny with his fists. Amateur glory. By his early 20s, Davis had compiled a staggering amateur record of 206 wins and 15 losses. He claimed the 2012 National Golden Gloves, 3 National Silver Gloves, and multiple Junior Olympics titles. The trophies glimmered, but they weren't the prize he was after. He wanted the world. And in 2013, he went pro. Personal life. Love, turmoil, and growth. Behind the gloves, Davis's life has been a roller coaster of passion and controversy. He's been linked to several partners, but his most public relationship has been with Vanessa Passo, an influencer and entrepreneur with whom he shares 2 children. He also has another daughter from an earlier relationship with Andretta Smothers. A devoted father, Davis often posts moments with his children, the playful laughter, the soft smiles that contrast sharply with the ferocity fans see in the ring. Yet his relationships have also been shadowed by legal troubles and domestic allegations, including a widely publicized arrest in late 2022. The charges were later dropped, but the incident added fuel to the fire of his polarizing image. In his own words, "I'm not perfect, but I'm learning. I'm trying to be a better man every day." Faith and redemption. In December 2023, Davis shocked fans by converting to Islam, taking the name Abdul Wahid. He spoke of finding peace after chaos, seeking structure and accountability through faith. For a man who had spent years fighting opponents outside and demons within, religion became a new kind of sanctuary. Beyond boxing, though still in his prime, Davis has shown interest in business and philanthropy. In 2024, he purchased several properties in his old Baltimore neighborhood, vowing to develop affordable housing and community programs. "If I can rebuild where I came from," he said, "maybe another kid won't have to fight the same way I did." He has also launched merchandise lines, youth boxing programs, and maintains an active presence on social media. Part athlete, part entrepreneur, part cautionary tale of fame's double edge. Professional career. The birth of Tank. Gervonta Davis turned professional in February 2013 at just 18 years old. His nickname, Tank, came from his childhood, a stocky build, unstoppable drive, and the kind of power that could bulldoze through walls. His debut fight lasted just 89 seconds, a violent symphony of speed and precision that left audiences gasping. He was signed under Mayweather Promotions, aligning himself with Floyd Mayweather Jr., a mentorship that blended brilliance with volatility. Mayweather saw in Davis what he once was: raw talent, ruthless hunger, and the spark of stardom. Climbing the mountain. By 2017, Davis captured his first world title, the IBF Super Featherweight Championship, by defeating Jose Pedraza in a stunning 7th-round knockout. Baltimore erupted. The boy from Sandtown had brought a world title home. But success didn't come quietly. Weight issues, canceled fights, and a volatile temperament began to threaten the dream. Critics said he lacked discipline. Davis answered the only way he knew how, by knocking out his next opponents cold. From 2018 to 2022, Tank carved his name into 3 divisions: WBA Super Featherweight Champion, WBA Lightweight Champion, and WBA Super Lightweight 140 pounds Champion. Each time, he carried his power up the scales, a rare feat in modern boxing. His KO ratio is almost equal to 90%, placed him among the most feared punchers alive. Signature fights. Leo Santa Cruz, 2020, a highlight reel uppercut that ended the bout instantly, one of the most brutal knockouts of the decade. Mario Barrios, 2021, proved Tank's power transcended weight classes, downed a naturally bigger fighter with surgical precision. Rolando Romero, 2022, pre-fight trash talk turned to silence when Davis dropped Romero with a left hand that could have cracked granite. Ryan Garcia, 2023, the fight that defined an era. 1.2 million PPV buys, a sold-out T-Mobile Arena, and a 7th-round body shot finish that made Davis a global superstar. Lamont Roach Jr., 2025, ended in a controversial draw, the first non-win of his career, sparking debates over refereeing and judging bias. Even critics who questioned his discipline could never question his destruction. When Tank steps between the ropes, something primal happens. The air thickens, the crowd leans forward, and every opponent realizes they're facing not just a man, but a moment in time. Fighting style. Tank is a southpaw with a hybrid of slick defense and explosive offense. His signature weapon, the counter left uppercut, timed with terrifying precision. He fights with rhythm, patience, and predator's calm. Analysts compare his ring IQ to Mayweather's, but his power to Mike Tyson's. In the squared circle, Davis doesn't just fight, he performs. He waits. He studies. Then he detonates. Controversies and setbacks. No great fighter escapes the shadows. Davis has faced numerous legal troubles, traffic offenses, assault charges, and public altercations. In 2023, he served a short home detention sentence for a hit-and-run case in Baltimore. These incidents bruised his reputation, but never broke his following. Fans saw them as part of the larger Tank saga, the flawed champion who keeps coming back. Even his relationship with Floyd Mayweather has been turbulent, swinging between mentorship and estrangement. Yet through every fall, Davis has risen, bruised, not broken. By late 2025, Gervonta Davis stands with a professional record of 31 fights, 30 wins, 1 draw, with 28 knockouts. He remains the reigning WBA lightweight champion, and talk swirls of a crossover bout against Jake Paul, a fight expected to break digital records and pay-per-view charts. Whether purists like it or not, Tank Davis has become more than a boxer. He's an event. House tour and car collection. From row houses to mansions. Gervonta's journey from the row houses of Sandtown to luxury estates mirrors the arc of a modern-day myth. He's been photographed in multi-million-dollar mansions, gleaming marble floors, glass chandeliers, garages big enough for a dozen cars. Though he keeps his residences private for safety, insiders report he splits time between Baltimore and Miami, occasionally staying in Las Vegas, where Mayweather Promotions operates. Yet Davis hasn't forgotten where he came from. In 2024, he bought the block he grew up on, not to flaunt, but to rebuild. Plans for affordable housing, gyms, and community centers have been discussed, turning his wealth into a weapon against the very poverty that once caged him. Tank's Garage. Davis's love for cars is legendary. Loud engines for a loud life. His rumored collection includes Lamborghini Urus, Rolls-Royce Cullinan, Ferrari 488 Spider, Dodge Hellcat, Mercedes-AMG G63 G-Wagon, Chevrolet Corvette C8, and McLaren 720S. Each vehicle customized, matte finishes, neon accents, and personalized tank plates. For Davis, cars aren't just toys, they're trophies of survival. Every rev of an engine is a reminder that he made it out, and he made it big. There was no college for Gervonta Davis, no lecture halls, no campus lights. His university was the Upton Boxing Center, his professors men like Calvin Ford, his degree written in sweat and blood. While other students studied business, Davis learned the business of self-belief. And in the School of Hard Knocks, he graduated with honors. As of today, Gervonta "Tank" Davis is alive, healthy, and still an active force in professional boxing. No credible reports indicate otherwise. The warrior continues to fight, in the ring, in life, and in his pursuit of redemption. If greatness were measured in knockouts alone, Gervonta Davis would already be a legend. But his legacy is larger, more complicated. A story of grit, mistakes, and rebirth. He's the Baltimore kid who turned pain into power. The street survivor who became a millionaire athlete. The fighter who bows his head in prayer before throwing a punch that could end a man's dream. There's a duality to Tank Davis, both sinner and seeker. His fists speak of violent poetry, but his eyes tell of someone who's still learning to forgive himself. Every victory brings applause. Every controversy lessons. In 2025, at 31 years old, Davis stands at a crossroads, between fame and focus, between destruction and destiny. The next decade will decide which side wins. Yet no matter what happens, one truth remains. Gervonta "Tank" Davis is not just a boxer. He is a mirror, reflecting the struggle, resilience, and contradictions of every person who's ever fought to change their story.